this white dude comes up to her with this song about lynching, which is called Strange Fruit.
Right.
And gets her a lot of attention.
Yeah. In
a lot of different ways.
Yes. Yes. People don't want to hear that song being sung. It's about lynching in the South. It's a poem written by Abel Maripol, who went under a pseudonym, but a young Jewish guy from the Bronx wrote that poem. And then the poem got big. That's really interesting that, I love pre-technology because, like, look how that traveled all over. People,
right.
Like, you got to read this poem. You got to read this. And now it's like you got to hear this song all of a sudden. So they wanted Billie to sing it. And everybody didn't want Billie to sing it. The song touched her because it reminded her of how her father died, who actually went into the war and was exposed to mustard gas. And
is that what it was?
Yeah.
The mustard gas? Mm-hmm. Oh, shit. I knew why he died. I didn't know it was because of that.
Yeah. And he was denied medical treatment and stuff for racial reasons and stuff. And it just reminded her of how he died, which is crazy. But a lot of people did not want her singing the song, including some government officials as well, because that song was stirring up people in ways that didn't need to be happening.
Yeah, that people weren't used to hearing shit like that at the time.
Right. And it was like, you're now the people through the art and through the music are starting to question their own government, the government that just saved them from a world war. Like,
who doesn't like that?
The government.
I wonder why.
They hate that. It's a quote from the government. So now what's interesting about the Strange Fruit and the crusade, for lack of a better word, to try to get Billie Holiday to not sing that, is because there was a particular bureau, a narcotics bureau, that was working, well, not narcotics yet, but they were working prohibition.
It was basically the pre-ATF, right?
Yes, the pre, drug enforcement, alcohol and tobacco, all that stuff like that. They didn't like that prohibition was coming to an end, and there was nothing to police. And it's just what a lot of us are going to be shit out of jobs now, and they're like, well, what can we focus on? And they're like, okay, well, we're going to focus on drugs. What else can we focus on, right? What else can we stop people from doing drugs? So now they focus on drugs, and a particular agent by the name of Anslinger, they want to focus
Henry?
on drug.
Or Harry?
Harry.
I'm going to call... Wait, so it was Harry?
Yeah.
So I'm going to call him Henry, because fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
So Henry was a piece of shit.
Oh my gosh. And it's so funny because his wife actually liked Billie Holiday, which is even more strange. So now he's like, okay, well, I got to keep a job. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going back to busting tables or whatever the fuck, whatever he was doing with his life before he became an agent. That was a prestigious job for him. And he's like, I'm not going back to this bullshit. He's like, I got to find a reason. So now it's drugs. Okay, well, who's always doing the drugs? The musicians. How can I make my job easier?
Musicians do drugs?
Musicians... Dang it, they always do drugs.
I don't think I ever do that.
Yeah. So, he's one of those people that didn't like the obvious oncoming of integration in the society. It was obvious, it was inevitable that it was going to happen. Even if it wasn't happening in that day, like any human can perceive that, okay, this is going to happen. So, because you got white kids listening to jazz and going to jazz joints, and, you got musicians integrating, working together and stuff like that. And he's like, fuck this. He's like, let's focus on the musicians, specifically the jazz musicians, because these are the ones that are bringing this foul integration into our country.
They're smoking reefer.
They're smoking reefers, and I'm not having it, because we're not going to taint the rest of our society, because it's only the jazz musicians that smoke these drugs. Okay, no one else in the country, including founding fathers, no one uses these drugs.
They invented it, right? They invented the plant, right? They made the seeds in a lab. I thought that. No. Oh shit, my bad.
They did, those jazz musicians. And so now he was cracking down on the jazz musicians, arresting them, trying to hold this one, hold that one. But the thing is, with the jazz musicians, nobody was snitching on anybody.
That's right.
And that was pissing him off. Take a note, New York. That's how it used to be here. But no one was snitching on.
Excuse me, can you pull your mask up? Sorry.
All right, so he was pissed. He was like, I hate jazz. I hate musicians.
Your Henry voice is funny.
I get it.
I don't like it.
I stole it from Grumpy Smurf. I have stolen it from
I think
him.
he was based on Henry.
Yeah, I think so too.
I keep trying to remember. I was like, "What? Which is the wrong name again?" Because I'm calling him the wrong name. I'm not calling him the right name. This whole fucking podcast.
Nope. So then he's like, I hate blacks, and then he's like, I hate fruit, and then
I hate trees.
He's so pissed at the trees and the fruit, and then somebody starts singing about them. He's like, oh man, he's like, this bitch is going down. Right? So Henry
shit.
and his hate for fruit
And nothing else.
gathers up all the other agents, and they're like, we gotta end fruit. We gotta end it now. Like, we gotta crush it. It can't happen. It just can't.
This is a vegetable kind of town.
That's right. That's right. So they're like, get all the fruit snitches that you know, like all the baskets, get them all in here. And anyway, so now he's got this crusade. He's got this crusade against this fruit. He does not want it. He wants to burst fruit and have the juice just spilling all into the streets. He wants people slipping on it. He wants people dying on it. He does not want fruit.
He wants fruit juice on the leaves.
Exactly. He does. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he does absolutely everything because he wants to target now, and he knows he can't get all the musicians. You can't put all the musicians in jail all at the same time, Hank. You just can't. So he's like, let me narrow it down on somebody. Who can I get?
I'm not gonna lie. For a second, I was like, who the fuck is Hank? And then I'm like, oh right, that's the joke. Yeah.
We don't know him.
Hillary.
That's his name. Hillary Anslinger. So now he cracks down on Billie Holiday because he knows he's heard now she's developed a drug problem. Before she was just smoking a little weed and stuff like that. She ends up marrying this guy, and now she becomes a full-blown drug addict.
The guy, Joe Guy?
Yeah, I think I've heard it. Yeah. That's his name.
Joe Guy.
I
only remember that because I remember reading his name and I'm like, that's really his fucking name? It sounds like somebody made it up like on the spot. Hey, who were you with yesterday?
I was with Joe Guy.
Joe Guy. You know?
Exactly. Pleased to meet you. I'm Joe Guy.
Yeah, for real.
So yeah, and that's what pretty much happens. Like, he cracks down on her. She's got a new addiction, which is heroin now. And not only that, but she's singing this song, and it's just like, oh, come on. Now she's just walking around. I'm going to paraphrase a quote of him saying, she's just walking around with her high priced clothes and, and she's getting pretty much everything she wants. And like everyone's at her beck and call. And now she's just singing this song and doing her drugs. And that made him sick.
And he's like,
I hate that. So for sure. And what's kind of ringing from me from Anslinger is that, okay, this is somebody who most likely grew up probably broke. You know what I'm saying? Probably a little bit of trashy. And got his ideal job with the federal government, okay? And now that job is about to dissipate. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he doesn't want to go back to farming or, getting rid of horse shit or whatever he grew up doing.
Shoveling shit.
And then, so he did all he did just to get to this freaking federal job, which, come on, probably not paying a lot of health insurance and, you know what I'm saying?
They
probably
have great benefits.
But probably, got to work like 15, 20, 16 hours just to make a good pay grade. Probably barely sees his wife.
You get to arrest whoever you want.
Well, then there's that.
That's a great perk.
Like Billie Holiday. But no, this black lady's pissing him the F off because, he most likely grew up poor, trash. Now he's got his government job. It's hanging in the distance and he's got to figure out how to keep it. You know what I'm saying? And here's this woman whose people were slaves and now she's got a fur coat on and people are serving her Filleted steak, medium rare.
So you're saying he was a fucking hater,
Yes,
and
he
Billie was balling
Yes, he was.
because she was making money at this point.
$2,000 a week.
At
I'll
that-
take it now.
Yeah.
I'll take it now.
Yeah. Back then, that's money.
Yeah.
And she was spending a lot of it on drugs, unfortunately.
Yes.
Which makes it kind of easy to get to her.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Because she's not the most responsible person if you're, passing out in hallways.
This is the thing I want to say, though. I think it's funny. So, about this fucking guy who's so adamant on destroying her life. It's like, here we are in the year 2022.
Yeah.
And we're still talking about Billie Holiday. And we're going to remember her for fucking ever.
Yep.
And this guy, no one gives a fuck about this guy. This guy's rotting in his grave alone. Nobody cares. But
No.
Billie will live forever.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
so I
for
think
sure.
in the end that it kind of, you're still a fucking loser guy.
Yeah, you still are. And even after she passed away and he lived, he still had to still constantly hear stories about her, because he lived to a good age, and you got to hear her being inducted into a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You got to hear her being the voice of the century. You got to see
got
her
a
on
movie.
magazines. And
Yeah.
yeah. Probably he's like, I hate this.
And I can't even do anything now.
That's right. Now he had to hate life. Poor
Well, he
Harry.
probably already did.
Yeah. There's a little movie. Harry Hates Life. I saw it.
Harry or Hank?
Hank.
Hillary? You decide.
Hobo.
Tell us
That's
in the
what it should've
comments
been.
which one you think is funnier.